Today we're going to talk about the top 15 ways that you get ripped off at the dentist. We're going to talk about how much you're overcharged on certain procedures. We'll tell you how much it actually costs the dental clinic, how much the procedure should cost, and how much you are actually getting charged. So with no further ado, here are 15 times you're overcharged for dental procedures. Number 15, braces. Did you know that the supplies for braces, the wires, brackets, and cement cost only $200 to maybe $400 per patient, and yet they charge over $6,000 per person for braces? And to make it even more crazy, in America, unlike many other countries, the assistants, depending on the state, can take the wires on and off, put the brackets on and off. And in many states, those don't even have to be licensed assistants, so you can really train anybody off the street. Which means that all this should allow braces to be a lot cheaper in America, but for some reason it's not. And that money really is probably just going to the orthodontist. Number 14, crowns. Did you know that the lab bill for a crown is only around $100 or might even be less? Yet the average dentist charges around $1,500. Number 13, deep cleans. So the average deep cleaning for the entire mall in South Miami is over $1,400. Let's talk about how insane that price is, because the cost of a deep clean is literally nothing. I mean, maybe $10 in supplies. And don't forget who does a deep cleaning. That takes literally no time for the doctor. That's a hygienist, a hygienist is not making the same salary as a doctor. I mean, in our clinic, we charge $500, like a third of the price. And if being ripped off over $900 isn't bad enough, it gets worse, way worse, because a lot of times it's been shown that a deep clean wasn't even needed. See, a deep clean should be done when you have dirt or calculus below the gums. That's where you numb the gums or you have significant bone loss and you clean the gums way deeper. And you should be easily able to see if you have significant bone loss or you have calculus or dirt under the gums on an x-ray. But there are so many clinics that will make anyone that hasn't been to the dentist like over a year have to get a deep cleaning. But there are people that haven't been to the dentist in over a year and do fairly good at oral hygiene, and they really probably don't need a deep cleaning. And it just really gets pushed on to a lot of people that might not need it. I mean, think about it. If you're the dental manager or the dentist, you get a commission or a bonus based on how much money the clinic makes. And as we talked about, a deep cleaning costs almost nothing in supplies. If you have a hygienist doing nothing or the schedule isn't very busy, it's a perfect thing to pass on to a patient. So there's a lot of incentive for dental clinics to try to convince people to get deep cleans, even if they might not need it. So yeah, that's how it is. Number 12, Arrestin. If you haven't heard of Arrestin, that's a good thing. It's an antibiotic that is placed in the gums that has tried to be shown that it can improve your gums for deep cleanings. But here's the crazy part, is the price. It can be around $85 a tooth. And that's at the cheap places. So don't forget, you're already doing a deep cleaning, and now you have to add Arrestin, which is another $2,000 to $3,000 on top of the price you paid for the deep cleaning. So you can be paying around $4,000 to clean your teeth. I don't know enough about Arrestin to know how much of a difference it really makes, or if it makes any difference. But I know a lot of clinics push it because they make a ton of profit off of Arrestin. And that's why at my office, it is banned. Number 11, x-rays. To take a panoramic x-ray costs over $150 on average. Now, a pano machine costs around $1,500 where it starts, or it could be higher. But if you get a pano machine for $1,500 and you're charging over $150 a pano, it's not too hard of math. 100 panos and you've basically paid for that machine. In a typical busy office, that's 1 to 2 weeks and you've paid for that machine. That means every pano you take, if that's the price you're charging, you're basically making profit after 2 weeks. And you could have that pano machine for 10 to 20 years. So if you can't tell, x-rays are a big ripoff and an easy way for a dental office to make money. Number 10, the gingivectomy. The gingivectomy is the biggest financial scam according to our clinic when we did the research. So let me explain this real quick. When I opened the clinic, I didn't know how much you're supposed to charge for certain procedures. So I just didn't look at what people were charging. I just thought in my head, these are the prices that would be very fair. If it was my cousin, my friend, or relative coming to my clinic, I feel this would be a fair price to be able to charge them. And I didn't know what the standard prices were because when I started this clinic, I had been working in Singapore. I hadn't even been working in the US. I had no idea. So it shocked me when my insurance department sent me a list of what the averages prices are in my zip code. And I was just shocked at how much a lot of these procedures are, which I'm talking about in this video. And the biggest difference of all the procedures was the gingivectomy. So if you don't know what a gingivectomy is that's where you trim the gums. And so you might have like a gummy smile and you trim away a little bit of the gums so you can show more teeth. It can result and look really, really nice. Now, I didn't know what to charge, so I charged $300 for the entire mouth. That's what I charged because I thought that was a fair price. It does take me 15 to 20 minutes of my time, plus we have to numb them and stuff like that. The average dentist charges over $3,000. Technically, it's $3,440. So that's over 11 times our price. And I don't know, it's a pretty easy procedure. I thought $300 was a fair price. Actually thought it might be a little high, only to find out I am way undercharging. Number 9, whitening. Whitening is also a huge ripoff. The materials cost like $10 to $20, yet the dental office typically charges $300 to $400. I mean, we charge just around $50, and if they do 2 rounds, it's $80. Plus, again with whitening, the assistant can do everything, so it takes almost none of the doctor's time. Number 8, bone graft. While most dentists don't rip you off as much on a bone graft as the other procedures because our price isn't that much less than the average price out there, it's the fact that it's pushed so much that it's a huge ripoff. See, when I was working in Singapore, we never did bone grafts, and coming here, we don't do it that often, hardly ever. But I've had dentists from other offices that they're trying to hire, and they say they do it after every single extraction because it makes total sense. It's a pretty easy procedure to do. You take out the tooth, the hole's there, you put some bone fragments in, and you suture it. It's really quick and easy. But if the patient's already losing 5 or 6 teeth, is it really worth it? I just think it's way overused and something that nobody's going to disagree with. It's an easy way for clinics to make money. Number 7, the 3-on-6 or the full mouth reconstruction. This is when all your teeth are removed and you're fixing them with 6 implants and 3 zirconia implant bridges. It takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of time, and it is the most advanced procedure we have at our clinic. The lab bill can also be very, very high. But even considering all these costs, for the average cost to be over $40,000, that's just crazy. Just as a comparison, our clinic charges $10,000, 1/4 that price. You could save $30K an arch. And it really doesn't need to be that expensive. Yes, it takes some work. Yes, it's not so complicated, but if the dental clinic puts systems in place and just tries to not rip the patients off so much, they could charge way less. Number 6, fake codes. So clinics are allowed to add any special charges that they want. These codes consist of anything. They could charge a sterilization charge, they can charge a numbing charge, they can charge a topical numbing charge, they can charge a polishing charge, whatever they want to charge. And obviously by putting these little charges in, it adds up to be some good money. So make sure before doing any treatment, you look over the treatment plan and make sure that there's none of these weird charges you're being charged for. Number 5, implants with a crown. The average implant costs a dental clinic only around $300. And that crown that goes over the top and connects onto the implant is another $300 for an average around $600. Yet, how much does the typical dentist charge you? Well, in South Miami, the average price is over $6,400 for an implant, abutment, and crown. As a comparison, the clinic I work for charges $1,850, around 3.5 times cheaper. Number 4, clear aligners. Clear aligners is a huge ripoff. For example, Invisalign will charge a dentist who's doing several cases around $1,500 a case. Yet that dentist will then charge the patient around $6,000. So if you do the math, they're making $4,500. And what do they do that requires that charge? Almost nothing. They take an impression. They take the trays out from what Invisalign gave them and put them on you. Sometimes they may add a few buttons or do IPR, but things that take almost no time. So it's a great thing to sell because the clinic can make a ton of money for doing very little work. Number 3, drainage. This is quite an easy procedure. You have some swelling and you just let it drain a little bit. It takes me less than 5 minutes. So because it takes less than 5 minutes of my time, we charge around $80, which again, I think might be a little expensive. But the average price is over $330. Number 2, dentures. I was really surprised to see that the average dentist charged over $2,400 per denture. So if you have to get upper and lower, that's over $4,800. Our clinic charges $650 per denture. And number 1, the all-on-4. The term all-on-4 was coined by Nobel Biocare, and it stands for doing a full arch on 4 implants. And how it is you can place these implants at different angles, and it works really well with people with limited bone. Now, there are 2 big problems with this procedure. First, there are many offices that this is the only thing they offer. So every patient that comes to them, they're going to tell you, you have to take out all your teeth and do an all-on-4, when you really could save them, or there could be an alternative that might be better for you, but they won't give you that as an option. And number 2, it's way, way, way too expensive. The average dental clinic charges over $35,000 for this procedure. Just as a comparison, our office charges $6,000. And so when you're charging $35,000, you only need 1, 2, maybe 3 patients a week, and you're good, you're making a ton of money. And then you can go golfing the rest of the week. And so that's why clinics have specialized in it, because they realize they can make a ton of money. It's pretty easy work when you only have 2 to 3 patients you need a week, and it's a great business model because they're ripping you off so much. So there you have it, the 15 most overcharged procedures in dentistry. Let me know if I missed anything. And for those that are interested, we have on our website what our price is and what the average price is. Now remember, when we calculated our prices, our dental clinic, I didn't know what the prices should be. So I did it based on what I think they should be and what I thought was a very fair price. So you can really compare and see which areas and which procedures in dentistry you're getting ripped off by how much of a factor there are compared to our prices. And as you know, we are located in Miami, which, we're not that far from the airport. So if you need some major dental work done, we have out-of-town patients coming all the time. I mean, saving $10, $20, $30, $40,000 is definitely worth buying a plane ticket and getting 2 or 3 nights in a hotel. We do our work very fast. It doesn't take very long. And we do an online consult. It's free. So you might as well check it out. It could save you a decent amount of money.